Well, JDs and gentlemen, it's come down to this. Here we are, last days of summer. Pool is going to be closed in 2 days, and I now need to prepare for them to come and close the pool. I am not in good shape. I didn't sleep well last night. No, I didn't drink yesterday. But this is such an emotionally depressing time because when you don't see this beautiful blue oasis and it's just covered up and like dead, it looks like, well, winter. You know, where all the leaves are off the trees and everything's dead and stuff. And when spring finally rolls around, I really can't think of anybody who doesn't say, oh look, there's buds on the trees, flowers are coming out, all this great stuff, you know, is happening, and the pool will eventually be open again. So it just gets dead for the winter, and it has to start now. So we got a few things that we need to do. One thing I talked about in the last video, which was called Crunchberry Lunchberry, a duet with Cindy and Last Swim in the Pool for 2025, link in the prescription, was I was going to try to shock the pool with more extra just as a test. It's going to be a waste of money and it'll be completely green next year, or maybe it'll fool me and we won't have many more warm days with the cover on there and the algae won't grow at all, and then I'll say, see, I shouldn't have done that, or, you know, I don't know. But that's the first thing we're going to do. So, rewinding back to the beginning of opening the pool for this year, I showed you how I add shock. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. And it seems a complete and utter shame because we still even have the AC on. That hasn't gone anywhere yet. Pool is still running, of course. Pump is still noisy. There's sort of a vibration and a weird noise now. But I think it's in conjunction with the AC running that it's causing that. But anyway, I don't know. It is what it is. Tropical Plunt has taken over, as it always does. We need to change the multi-port valve, so we'll turn that off. For those of you who remembered the pool opening, yes, the cover on the pump spit when I shut it off, which means it's not over tightened. That's a great thing. You need to shut the solar. And that is now closing. And we're going to move the handle to recirculate. Recirculate. Okay, now we'll go back to the pool. Gotta turn it on first. But I'll just wait a second for the solar to close all the way for no reason, just so it doesn't have to half pump water up there and back. Yeah, we're good now. Okay, so you might be saying, are you ever going to mow? Yep, eventually, but not now. What's the point of mowing now, only to get grass and all kinds of other shit go in the pool that is only going to be closed and it's going to sit in there and fester all winter. So after it's closed, I'll mow. Not much in the skimmer to speak of. For all intents and purposes, I really honestly could go in the pool again today. That's good. That's the weight in the thing. I guess the little button is worn out or something. So that's just going to be another little annoyance. But it's fine otherwise, it makes no difference. So just clean all that gunk out and close that up. And here's my bucket o' shock. Bucket o' shock for everyone.
Mr. Potato Head and his bucket of parts. Buckets of fun for everyone. To make a million silly faces, it's the place to start. Put them all together and take them all apart.
Mr. Potato Head and his bucket of parts from Play School.
I understand how much water we got. Should be okay. We're okay for this, certainly, but I don't know if there's quite enough for backwashing. So what we're going to do is put 2 half scoops. That's like 2 half pumps of caramel.
Hi. May I please have a double shot half almond milk latte with 2 half pumps of caramel, a light dusting of cinnamon. Oh, in the foam, can you put a heart?
A broken one.
How'd you know? It's delicious. Are you new here?
No.
We're going more than half. We're going about that much there. And same way as always, we just sprinkle it. Just like this. It's very potently aromatic today. You want to try not to breathe it. I know if you smell chlorine, you're like, oh my god, it smells like a pool! Well, wait till you own one. There are people that live by the ocean, and they say, oh, well, I get the, the ocean breezes come in, and you get this smell of like the salt air and stuff like that. So instead of that nice breeze rolling in, I got the chlorine air coming in. So we'll do that in about a half-ish. Again, this is probably going to be a waste of money, but I guess for a couple of bucks it doesn't hurt to try. You'd think they're pouring in stuff at the end when they close it. That ought to be sufficient, but you know how that all goes. Alright, we got that. We're going to close this up. And yep, that's right. Just that fast, we shocked the pool. With my shitty water pressure, I couldn't have filled the bucket in that amount of time. And as usual, I like to swish everything around. There we go. And we'll do the golf ball wash to clean all of the excess shock out of the basket. That's pretty good right there. I have a black dirt on me. No idea where that's from. That's fine. And, oh yeah, there's some down here. So again, just make a whirlpool. I'm eating the grass while I do this. A little more. One more time. The reason that works to get all the stuff off the bottom is if you make iced tea from the powder mix stuff. Probably nobody knows what that is anymore. When you stir it, you kind of make the same thing happen, and it gets dissolved. Wow, physics. All right, there's that. I tell you, this water is so nice. I ought to go in again, but it's enough because we got to drain this down. I can't have the possibility of it not being drained down in time. Take a look at this wonderful blue for one last time this year. Sparkling, crystal clear, super inviting, and it sure didn't look like that when I opened it. That was a lot of work. I got to do it all again next year. Normally at this point, we've bullshitted enough that we can go back and put the pump back in filtration, but there's no need for that because we need to backwash. And backwashing may seem counterintuitive at this point, because why do you want to get rid of water you just chlorinated? Well, I don't have a choice, really. If I put shock in the way they tell you to, we'd still be here doing that. And then I would have forgotten, oh shit, I should have backwashed first. Oh well, and we'd be in the same boat. Now you can hear the sound that the pump is making. Not a good sound. But it's time to backwash for the last time. I can't possibly get you in here and see the sight glass because it's tropical flood. But there is still a Judy bloom, so that's nice. Shut her down. And now we'll go over to backwash. And turn it on. It's just sort of cloudy-ish, I think. Unless there's sand in it. We'll know when I go to rinse. Well, we'll just let that chooch. Now, at this point, because I have to drain the pool down anyway, we're going to let this rip for a little while. Let it get a good backwash. And we're going to do a good and thorough backwash. In fact, I got to get this extension cord out of here because it's going to flood. And the cord is live. So that's good. I'll need it anyway. So we'll get that out of the way. Okay, that'll do. We'll shut it off. And we'll go over to rinse. Right there. Turn it back on. So it was clear, the sight glass was clear now before I even turned it back on, so we're good. Let that rinse for a bit. I'll go to backwash again. Yes, the cover spit. Backwash. Just a bit cloudy, which is really just a DE, which is a good thing. Now, something else I want to point out here. I didn't show this on camera, but this multi-port valve that I have, that's a Chinese replacement. It's not the original Hayward, but that's made in China now also. After I had vacuumed the pool for the first time, I couldn't move it out of waste mode. I could push the handle down, but it wouldn't turn. There was just so much junk and crap in there, and I was afraid it was going to break. Next year it would be wise for me to have a replacement on hand in case, but I think we have a way out for that. Meanwhile, what I did do is I took WD-40 silicone spray and I sprayed the hell out of where it pivots in here. And I will tell you that now, without junk in it, it is operating way smoother than it did. It took a while to soak in. Like when I first did it, it didn't really matter much. But now it turned nice and easy. We'll see again because we'll go to rinse. Nice and smooth. Almost like, well, not quite like new, but it's close to it. And rinse again. Rinsing. Back to backwash one last time. Almost nothing to speak of. That's good. And again, we'll let that chooch for a little bit here. That's probably good. We'll shut it off. And now we'll have the AC start up. That's the upstairs. Now we'll go to the filter and take the bung out. We'll open the air relief. Let that chooch out. Nothing to speak of, it's pretty clear. And again, there's going to be people there. If you're one of them, here's the explanation. No, I'm not flooding my basement. I live on an island, and this is not soil, it's sand. It drains very quickly. It'll be here for a minute or two. Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty there. Some clouds coming out now. But I'm not seeing any chunks or green stuff or any of that great stuff. It's just kind of murky-ish, which is just DE in it, really. Alright, that's pretty good. Still on backwash, we'll go ahead and turn the pump back on again and let it flood. Let it really chooch out of there good. It's got to catch prime because we just administered a lot of air. It'll catch. There it goes. Yeah. See all that? Turn it off. Let it drain down one more time, maybe hit it again. And again, I need to get water out of the pool anyway, so it's going one way or another. I'm going to show you, we have a new way this year to get water out of the pool. Alright, it's not really new, you've seen it before. Very clear. Now it's getting down to the bottom. Very, very clear. Now we're getting some crap out of there. Bits and bobs and PE and whatnot. Yeah, that was a nice little chunk. All right. That's good. We'll hit it one more time while we have it there. Love standing in water while I throw 240 volts. That's good. And I think that's good enough right there. All right, we'll shut that. We'll let that drain down again. I'll pause here. All right, that's good. I'm going to move the handle now to recirculate. And we shouldn't have water come out of there, will we? Yeah, you know, everything's old. So let's see. Recirculate's over here. There we go. Turn it back on, let it catch prime. Just a trickle coming out of there, which is fine. Whatever's dripping out of the grids and that. We have caught prime once again. Things are working. That's good. All right, we're going to leave it just like that. There's no sense doing anything more. I'll put the bung back a little later so we don't lose it. But now let's go on to the new way of draining the pool. You can see that water is down. So coming in on the skimmers. Yeah, that's definitely lower. We wouldn't have had much water left before the skimmers ran dry. So that's okay. So now we'll get to draining this. For those of you who don't watch the China reviews, China had sent this, the Crest Wave pool cover pump. I tested it for the video, it worked, and it worked actually pretty good. There was a little deceit in that video. It's supposed to shut off after a minute of it not sensing water. And in that test in the garbage can, it went well over a minute and it wasn't shutting off. So that was good. So off camera, I kind of just pulled the plug and made it silent so nobody would know. So it looked like it shut off. But then in the subsequent test, it worked absolutely perfectly. So I don't know. We'll give it a pass, I guess. I was very impressed with the flow of this thing. And I have my whip hose from the front, only because I'm too lazy to get the hose for the normal cover pump, which is hiding over there. The, what are they called? The Little Giant pump? I forget who makes it. It works, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's got its own hose, but the hose is kind of, this is a better hose. It's not terribly long, but I think it's 25 foot. That ought to be enough. So we'll drop this thing in and let this drain it down. I didn't put this back in the box. The idea was I did it for the video and I was going to leave it out for a couple days for it to dry out before I box it back up. That didn't happen. So it sat there for a couple of weeks since that video, and now we're going to use it because it's still out and then it can sit out all winter. I'd love to be able to put this on one of the steps. But the problem is, well, it kind of stays. So maybe we'll try that. Put it, I need a little more hose. Right like that. It's supposed to turn on. There, it did. It's kind of staying. It'll probably fall over. It's not right, but it's chooching. Try to put that knot where the dry well is. I guess while we're here, we'll fill up the bird bath one more time. Clean it out maybe first. That's got a lot of crap in it, geez. The birdies had a field day with this, and I cleaned it not that long ago. Clean enough. There we go. And somewhere out here, again, trying to put the hose not where the dry well is. Maybe kind of back over here. Yeah, that'll do. We'll let it just chooch over there for what it's worth. And we're going to leave that and let that run and just chooch. Maybe it'll go over to that Dick's yard over there. We'll see. We'll see where the water builds. It sits at a weird fakakta angle. I think if it had a little more hose, it would work. Sit flatter or... yeah, there. It's still not quite right. But we'll see. Maybe it'll actually work and it'll shut off when it's time. Probably not. But still, I have to mind the skimmers. When that starts sucking air, we got to start shutting them down. But in the meantime, while that's draining, we got other work to do. Of course, it just never ends. We got to pull these solar lights out. So I learned a few things about solar lights. One is they don't like being outside. That makes sense. These two in particular have a little bit of a problem. They lost the little rubber caps over their on-off buttons, but typically you turn it on and turn it off at the end of the season, you know, and it does the dusk to dawn automatically. Both of these had problems not lighting up. I was able to resurrect them a couple times this year, but they have like spider webs and spider nests in the switches. That's what happens. And I haven't gone so far as to try to take them apart. When you do pull solar lights out, make sure you grab it at the base, because if you leave the little pokey part in the ground, you'll never find it again. So we'll turn it off and grab the little pokey part, take it out. Now I'm going to get that and that one. And herein is the next problem. There's duty at the end of the stick. So it would be good to rinse that off. I'm going to collect the other two right now, which are on this side. But then there's more stuff to pull. Let's get them. It looks naked already. Oh no. So here they be, and we ought to rinse off the steak at the end. There's gnats here. Get out of here. I could use the water coming out of the pool, but I'm not that smart. Actually, I want the hose nozzle. I think that'll do a better job. So I could put it on the end of that, but it's probably not good for the pump, so that's why we're doing it this way. This one's got a lot of duty on it. It may look clean, but it's actually not. When it dries, there's still going to be deposits and whatnot left on it. And you can see the tip here, still just little, you can see the dirt maybe right there that I just pulled off of it. It's good enough for the winter. It's fine. So we'll get the rest of those three sprayed off. At this point, you might be thinking, why the hell are you draining it using a stupid little pump like that when you could just have the pump go and take it to waste? Well, it goes into a dry well here, and I figure the less we put into that, the better off we're going to be. It's going to take a long time, but it will get the job done. Absolutely. It already looks like it's gone down even more since. Like I said, this thing seems to really put out the pressure. I wouldn't use it over the winter, but because I wouldn't trust it to do what it's supposed to, you know. But it'll do the job. I got all day. Now we're going to take out these Aluso lights there and in the corner. These, not impressed. They were great to start, and the batteries just are not holding up. They have a USB-C port on each of them to charge. The second center one over there was giving trouble. I did charge it, it worked for another day, and then it was still lackluster. But because we got, you know, red, white, and blue, the white is a composite white of RGB, and thus it's using the most power. Why only the right one wants to die before the left one, I don't know. It just is. And ironically, the red being there, the white, and the blue lasts the longest. So I guess that pulls the least current. Okay. So let's go grab that. Take a look at it. Yeah, it needs to be sprayed off. Let me get the other three of them, and I'll spray those off. You hear the bubbles? See the jet in the middle? And the other two? They're not going too well. That's actually a good thing. That means the pump is getting airlocked. And hopefully you can see the problem. That's what I didn't want to happen while I was backwashing. With this water kind of pouring in like a waterfall like that, it's creating a lot of bubbles here. And that's getting in the pump. But that means that it certainly is draining down. Yeah, there. The pump just picked up from being airlocked. Wow, the water is falling right before that, and it looks like something is in there, but it's not. I don't know if you can see that on camera. I could smell the chlorine chooch off of that. My goodness. So that shock did some good, I guess. Remember, I always use less than was prescribed. So this is going to cavitate and carry on for a while. We'll let it. It's not hurting anything now. The pump has not lost prime yet. And when it does, enough water will come back in, it'll pick up. And meanwhile, while that's going, we have one other order of business here. So let's get this out of here. I have the other lights sprayed off already and ready to go. We got to get the waterfall out of here. Now this was a great place for it, a great idea, horribly executed. It's rusty. What do we do? How do we prevent that while still keeping it there? What do I use to sand away the rust? I want you to comment if you would please. This is a real question. Okay? How do I get rid of the rust? And what do we do to prevent it? You see it's wet underneath it because it's sitting on it. And also when the solar opens up, it kicks water up, and that kind of sits underneath it as well, and all that kind of great stuff, and it does that, and that's why it's wet there, and that's why it rusted. I didn't think that through. Raising it, well, what's it going to sit on? Pipes and put self-tappers through? and drive that into the ground? I don't know. Or just get rid of it altogether. I have no idea. So we got to pull this out. This over here got thrown in. Not too bad. I don't know where. Yeah, there. Okay. That and the pump kind of hangs there. Get that out. Somehow find a cord and it's right there. Okay, it unplugged from wherever. So I think it's buried in there. So that's out. I'll clean that up. And not much water flow at all. So we're going to pause there and see. It looks good now, but that pump is going to catch more prime. You hear it kind of get waterfall-y in there. This one too, you could hear it even better. So that's going to keep doing that for a bit. So soon it's going to be time to shut these skimmers down. I hear angry pump sounds. Expected, of course. Yeah, it's barely got anything going in there. Just picked up again. So we'll wait till it sort of airlocks itself out again. If it will, it may not. But there's water in there moving, so we're not burning nothing out. She is pretty unhappy. It's surging now, so it's getting some. But soon enough, it's going to airlock again. No, it picked up. Everything's fine. I don't know what that was. Now that we have full flow, it's sucking those skimmers dry. There you go. See, that's exactly what's happening. Alright, we're pretty good airlock now. We're going to just shut the skimmers. East and west skimmers are shut. And that'll pick up now. And that's now just taking from the main drain. We can't get full flow through that because it's only one feeding, but pretty good. And that way it's just on recirc, and it's just going to keep going around, because the filter has no DE now. So we'll leave that. And for the hell of it, I'll open the solar back up, get some chlorinated water through that. while we have it open. Or available still. It gets greened down when the guys are here. And the guy Jesse that comes to do this blows it out for me, as opposed to the other dick that said, oh no, it's not included, it's part of your thing. He's like, yeah, open it up. It's just air. It's going to blow it out. It's fine. It's like, stop being a dick. What? Why? I didn't hire you to be a dick. I hired you to do a job. Not be a total dickwad about everything. And one time, the owner of the company had come, and you can't see it now, but in this mess here, there's a couple of unions for the solar, and he went and opened those up, and I said, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Well, I need to be thorough. I said, no, those have not been touched since they were installed 20-something years ago, guy. Nobody has ever touched those. They don't need to be fucked with, and he fucked with them. He also broke my universal wall fitting I had at the time. That's long since been replaced. Now the one I have is knackered anyways, which I think is probably 2-3 replacements from then. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He also broke that. He said nothing about, oh, I'm sorry, I have one on the truck, I'll replace it for you. This way you'll be all set for next year. No, 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 why would you do that? And this is the owner, the fucking face of the company. And you don't want to own up to a $5 mistake you made? Jesus shit. Well, anyway, maybe he met Jesus because he ended up dying. So now it's owned by another company. And that's that. Would you actually believe it? The water is 81 today. 81. Yesterday it was 78. It's 3 degrees warmer today, and I've had the solar off for a good hour. Wow. That sucks. Could still go in. It's just very chlorinated. So not good. And while we're here, I moved the plumb up one step over here just to do it. It seems to be sitting on there just fine. So we'll see if it actually will shut off. I think it has to. I think the water has to go below that step, so it'll shut off, you know, before it needs to, and then I'll move it down, and then I'll just watch it until it gets to the right level. Now I gotta get the colored lights out. They're magnetic. Yeah. It's supposed to come off. There. That's all growed in also. That worked out well. And that plug is right here. There we go. And one free and the other free. Good. We got it. Now I'll clean those up. Some deck has a circular saw that's been going in the background, so that's nice. Now we got to get the chairs out of here because it's not going to be sitting at this table anymore. Here we go, loopy-loo. Here we go, loopy-light. Here we go, loopy-loo. Saturday night. Well, it's actually Saturday day. Birdshit berries. Great. This one got pterodactyl pretty good too. Another one of these broke. So I don't know, might have to go to the white chair some slime eventually. That fire pit. Down there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's really about it for now. I haven't the slightest idea where that water's going, but it's not pooling up over there. It's not pooling up back here where I'm standing. So it's like it's going straight down. It's odd. I have no idea where it's going. Usually it'll start to flood in that, but no, it's not. The water is just about, let's see how close. Yeah, it's just almost as it appears. Just a tiny bit of water there. So we're almost below the top of the bottom lip of the skimmers. But it's still going to take a while, and we got to go well below this. I like to shoot for like halfway between here and the light that you can't see in frame. So there's the light and the skimmer to give you an idea. So it's got, I don't know, 4 inches to go. 5, 4.5, 4 3/4. Somewhere in there. It's up to the crease in my hand. You know, right there. So it's got to get down to this step at least. So it's got whatever, let me measure that. Yeah, that should be about right. It's got that much to go. That just kind of said I have a small dick, right? Yeah. All right. Poorly executed, but I tried. So that's going to go for a while. Right now, we're going to play the waiting game. Not to be confused with the dating game or the newlywed game. What I can do in the meantime is shut the camera down and edit the footage I have thus far. Before I do that, we'll see about deflating Lyman over here. Her name is Dorothy. Dorothy Lyman. Mama's family? No. Nobody's old enough to remember. That really sucks. There's a little flap in here that kind of keeps it inflated. So the goal is to get a little screwdriver. Brought 2 of them. Try a green one because it matches. Stick that in there and use the shop vac to help suck the air out. That's about all you get with this. I can't push it any further in. And you people like to think that I don't know what I'm doing. Plug the pump back in. I borrowed the cord because it's here. I think it's chooching. I guess we'll close that. Just sort of fold it up. It doesn't have to be pretty. This thing has got one more summer in it. That's about it. Not all the air is out, but that'll do. That's good enough. It certainly takes up a lot less room than it did before. And yes, the pump is chooching. Okay, so hopefully you didn't see any of that. Perfect. And yeah, good. So I'll put the shop vac back. I'll go in and edit this footage so far, and we'll wait for the pump to do pump things. And one last thing before I go in and start editing this, the rest of the stuff, the pink flamingos and the, you know, other solar lights and that, a little bit later we'll pull those out, not in this video. That's going to get pulled out right before I'm about ready to blow the sprinklers out, because I blow the garden hoses out as well to avoid them getting damaged. And in doing that, I won't really have water available to rinse them off. So we do that before that, and that's when I get them out, and that's when the backyard is completely closed up for the winter. It'll still kind of look nice when I take a piss upstairs in the bathroom, because the window faces back here. So I can still see out and see at least this part of the backyard still lit up. Alright, we're going to come back later. I don't know when later, but later. Oh, no we're not. We got one more thing. Oh, that's nice. I need that for my backyard. Oh, we don't want them to see. It's about 5:30 p.m. and we are almost where I need to be. I want to go down maybe another inch or so. We're just a little too close to the skimmer. I just like it a little lower than that. Plus you get more fresh water in the spring. You know, so that's good too. But believe it or not, it shut off. It actually worked.
The masks, they do nothing.
The tinfoil shield, it actually works.
Does it still work?
You're dumb.
Hot damn. Maybe that does have some merits after all. And sitting down here is just, you know, it's just the tiniest bit. It's exactly what it should be. I'll put this down. The next step. Come on, China. Come on, China. Hasn't started yet. Takes a minute? I don't know. Maybe you just China it out and it happened to be at the right time. I don't know. We'll see. It took a lot of cajoling to make that thing work again. Put it on that step. It's like, no, what? What water? What are you talking about? Whole thing is almost submerged, you know. Unplugged it, plugged it back in. Nope. Dunked the whole thing completely underwater. Nope. Took it out again, put it back. Nope. And then just magically out of nowhere, oh, okay, we're running. And it's pumping again. So I don't know about the reliability, but it certainly pumped everything out. This has been running for, we're going to say about 4 hours. And to get the water down That's not bad. And I remember when I moved in back in 06, we didn't end up using the pool for the 06 summer season. And the reason for that was simply because the pool was black. It was that bad. I did not have, well, I had the pump hooked up, the pool pump hooked up, but I couldn't make it work because I had no idea what I was doing. Turns out there were certain other valves that were closed or something, and I was too dumb to figure it out or know what to change. But I had that little giant pump, the one over there I showed you before that I normally use. That was left behind in the garage. The one that's sitting out there is a replacement for it because it died at one point, and I bought it because it lasted a good long time. I really can't complain. But I had just that little pump, and I had some videos. I'll see if I can remember to put the links in. Something I haven't done in 15 years or so. I can't remember exactly what it was. A couple of years ago, I hooked sprinklers up to the end of the hose on the pump. Not this one, obviously, because I didn't have that kind. But the other one, and I hooked my spray nozzle up to it and a couple of different sprinklers. And that's because at the time, I was still working at Tiny Middle. And when I get home, it would be, 5, 6 o'clock, something like that. And it was late July, well, probably more like August. So we still had light out till a good 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30, if not even a little later than that. So I used to get about 3 hours worth of pumping on that old pump. But I said, well, why waste the water if I could water the lawn with it? I didn't have sprinklers at the time. So I hooked it up to that. Well, that impedes the water flow, but now you're sprinkling it over the lawn in the hopes it'll do any good. It never did, but it's there nonetheless. But yeah, I did that, and it took me about a week to a week and a half to drain the pool, doing it like 3 hours a night. Every day I would come home from Tiny Middle. We got the sprinkler running here. More on that soon. Okay, here's coming around the back. We got motion detector lights up. They go all around. Still got to clean all the weeds up back here, but I've been doing some. So we still got a jungle here. That's what's left of the pool. We're draining the water out. This hose here was running to the sprinkler you saw in the front, and we got a sump pump there. So we're just draining some of the water out and see what we can do. There's all algae and stuff in there. Figure if we drain it, we could try to clean it. Over here you can see the top line there, and then the lower line, and then even a third line. The third darkest line is what's just been going on today since I came home from work at like 6. And already down below, that's where the water sprays in. And it reminded me of that, and that's why I had those other videos. Again, links in the description if I could find them. This one has been going, I think, at a better clip, and there's nothing impeding the flow, so that's helpful also. So that's good. Now, the one thing that is a little concerning, I don't have the water quite low enough, and that's obviously why I lowered the pump to the next step, and I'll just shut it when I'm ready. It's probably going to run for another hour, I guess, before it gets to where I want it to be. I'm not certain about the flow coming out of these jets. And the water isn't low enough for us to really see how much chooch the return jets here are giving. But one thing I can see Well, now I'm not necessarily seeing it as much. Before, it really sounded like the pump was not getting enough water. But it seems to be doing all right for only having the one open. What we do need to do now is open the skimmers one at a time, though, and let it get out the remaining water there. So let's do that. Sorry, both of the ACs are running, so I'll just have to call it out. We'll open the east skimmer first, because that's the farther one. And now close it. So now allegedly it has to catch prime again, or it's supposed to catch prime again. It did. He's coming right up. Now I know the pool decks are going to be here and they're going to be blowing the line out, but hey, if I can get 75% of the water out, that increases my chances of having a pretty damn empty pipe, which is what you need. Get that one more tube. It's still taking more. There, now we're allowed. So we'll close that. I'll go look at the skimmer and I'll come back and let you know. Yeah, that's pretty damn empty to me. And the west skimmer also had water in it before, but now it doesn't. Does it leak out? Or maybe the valve isn't fully sealed and it just sucked it up. I don't know. We're going to purge it anyway. Turn that off. See if it'll catch prime again. It's coming up. Let that get a nice full head of water on it, you know. One more glass. Man, one day these handles are just going to break the fuck off. Not going to be good. Okay, so that's closed. And one more time to catch prime. Yep, she's got it. Alright, so let's see what it looks like now. We'll give it just another moment here. It's working out some air still. It's working on it. Can't really complain. I guess it's fine, really. Okay, something happened. These are chooching really good now. Was it just so airlocked that it couldn't purge itself? Is that what happened? Because that's going, you know, full, it's hitting the wall over here. Okay, and, you know, we're still crossing the stream, so that's good. And we are pumping down more, but there's so much more force on that that you can see these jets are chooching. The far one over there, that's really moving. That's weird. So my only guess as far as what was happening was maybe the wet skimmer, because it was empty, I didn't have that valve closed all the way. And that being the case, it was still sucking some air. And that was aerating the water in the basket. And it couldn't get, you know, full chooch going like it is now. All right, well, thank fuck for that. That's good news. I feel a lot better knowing that. That is excellent, excellent news. So we're looking at the barbecue. And what does this have to do with closing the pool? Well, I was gonna have a barbecue today. I was gonna make dirty J burglars, but you know, I'm beat. Between the work I did, I know it wasn't much, but the work I did and then editing that video, and you see how long it is, I gotta relax now. We had some leftover Chinese food, so I had that for dinner, and that's fine, but we do have the ingredients for some nice dirty J burglars tomorrow, the Sir Mush variety. I'll put a link to that in the prescription as well. So we got about another hour's worth of pumping, I figure, somewhere in there. There's a leaf here, or a bug. It disintegrated when I touched it. I have no idea. Turned into a bunch of little black specks. That's good. So whatever that was. So this has got to go for maybe another hour or so. It'll still be light out by then. So that'll be good. And, you know, I'll fine tune it tomorrow and that. And I think that's pretty much... Nope, there's one other thing. This area serves many purposes. In addition to dealing with the pool equipment and the central ACs and the hose, it's also the de-sliming zone. You better know what that is. But one thing we do need to do is roll up the hose. And Jordan Yu got to use my hose reel. He had a video on some hose reels, some old junkers that were thrown out or something. And, you know, I said, listen, I bought this one and it was way too much money, but it's really nice. And he did get to use it. In fact, let me put a quick clip in here of exactly what he said. Oh, now you get to use my hose reel.
Yeah, this is a nice hose reel.
I like that.
Too bad it's not affordable.
Wait.
I was going to say, that doesn't look cheap.
Wait till you roll it up. You think you hate this car now, Clark? Wait till you drive it.
This is the automobile you should be using, the Wagon Queen family truckster. You think you hate it now, but wait till you drive it.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. It is a nice hose reel. Too bad it's not affordable. And if the grass weren't so tall and it wouldn't get caught in it, it would have gone even easier than that. I love and I hate this thing at the same time. All right, man, I am beat. That was a lot. But we're all done and we're all set. I can't believe it's over. I cannot believe it's over. One last hurrah before we go. Let's see the moment the pump caught prime this year, just to hear how excited I was once again. Good, good, yeah. Keep going. Keep going, you got it. You got it. Let's go. Yes! Let's go to the pool. We have water! Awesome! And we've crossed the streams! Yes! We need water out of there. It takes a while. It's got a big pipe to fill. Come on. There we go. Awesome. Yeah! She took off in the season. Love it. In one shot. All right. Thanks so much for watching. That's going to do it. Tomorrow's just going to be a day of running on recirc, pretty much as you've seen. I'll pull the pump out and do all that. And Monday they're going to come and close it, and maybe I'll make a video then showing that. Video of the barbacoa making the dirty J burglars? I don't think so. I'd like to ask you and have you comment, but it's tomorrow and this isn't going up for 3 weeks, so that's how it works here. All right, that's going to do it. Man, maybe you can see now why I don't close the pool myself. This is more than enough work right here and now. If I had the right stuff, yeah, I could probably take tomorrow and do it. But, you know, I worked hard enough. Let somebody else do it already. Not that there's any recourse if something goes kablooey, but whatever. Anyway, we now know that we have full pressure on the pump. Everything is good. And it was probably my screw up with not shutting that valve off. So I am satisfied fully that the pool is ready to be closed. And I've done everything in my power for it. We got a new cover for it this year. It's the same type that I've had, but it's new because the old one just was knackered. So that'll be on, and if I make the video on that, you'll see it. Yeah, this was a long one. This was fun. Not really. It's very sad, but it is. We've reached the end. Man, we had some great use out of the pool this year. So really, I cannot complain. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. Ring the bell for Arbleys. And take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.